In this video, we're going to discuss the particle mover behavior. So you can see that there's some fireballs here and they're just kind of floating up and down, kind of reminiscent of the old Mario days, although it's in 3D here. I've got like a fire pit and some fireballs kind of going up. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a sound to go with it, but I think that would kind of set it off nicely if we had a little fireball whoosh sound, but that's okay. It's just a demonstration. But here you can see that we have the objects. The objects are moving. It's like a fireball. And then you can see the particle effect is moving with it. And that's the particle mover behavior at work, moving the particle along with whatever object you assign it to. And you can see that there's two in the one in the background. So there's two fireballs going, and I'll show you how that works, because for every particle that you want moving, you'll need a particle behavior active somewhere in the scene. Let me show you how that works. Now, in a situation like this, where I've got a behavior already on the object that's moving, in this case, hover, because it's really just hovering back and forth, I can't put the particle mover behavior on that object, right? Because it already has a behavior. I could find an object somewhere in the scene. I could really pick anything like the floor or the wall or something like that. But I find that it's harder to remember, especially on a bigger build, where I put what. And so what I started doing is putting objects just outside of the play area to represent global behaviors like this that are meant to just hold a behavior and do something for me somewhere in the scene. So if you find yourself needing a place to put things, just make a little area specifically for this kind of situation where you need a behavior to affect something. Now, if you're going to do this, make sure that whatever you assign it to, it doesn't really matter what, I just chose a crate. Make sure that it's always active. That way, if you get too far away from the object that actually has the behavior, it doesn't stop running the script. You want that to run all the time. But in my case, since I had two fireballs, I needed two crates, right? Two boxes back here. I'm just going to turn this on so we can see better. And on each crate, there's the particle mover behavior referencing the particle that I'm moving and the object with which it needs to move. So the particle effect is called fireball underscore one. The object itself, the little ball, is called fireball one. On this one, it's fireball two, and fireball two respectively. And that's just because I tried experimenting. I tried thinking, well, if they were both named fireball just by itself, could I move one particle on both? And it doesn't work that way. You need a particle for every object that's moving that you want it to follow. So you'll have to set it up kind of like this. Then you have the adjust X, Y, and Z offsets. And you'll see that I adjusted the offset for Y. And the reason for that, going back in here for a moment, the particle, it doesn't really matter where you put the particle. I just happen to put it on the fireball or like near it. It's in there somewhere. It's kind of hard to tell, hard to see it, but it's there. I put it kind of near the fireball, but it doesn't really matter. I could put it anywhere. I could even put it outside the walls, and it would still attach to this object that it's being called for, and it would still follow this object. And when it was doing that, and as it was going up, the particle was appearing just below the ball, and it made more sense for it to be kind of on the ball or surrounding it, so it looked more like the fire was part of the ball itself. And so you just have to dial it in depending on what it is you're using and how it looks. But that really is all I needed to do, was just go up a little bit to make it look more like it was part of that ball. Okay. So, adjust the y-axis, the x-axis, and the z-axis accordingly. And just as a refresher, in case you're new or just don't remember, the y-axis is your green arrow, the x-axis is your red arrow, and the z-axis is your blue arrow. That's how you know which one to move it along. And then the last thing you have here is a checkbox for hide object. So if I wanted the particle effect to be the thing that's moving, but I didn't want that little ball to be visible, I could just tick that box and it would hide the named object, and all you would see is the particle moving forth. That's one option as well. I didn't think it looked as good, so I left it unticked. But again, really kind of depends on what you're doing with the particle mover effect. And then we could add to this. I didn't do this, but just as I'm thinking about it in real time, we could add a light. We've done the light mover behavior. We could add a light to it and move that along at the same time. So try that out. Try to experiment with ideas like that. But that's it. That's the particle mover behavior. Pretty simple and straightforward. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned anything new, please be sure to click the like button down below as always. If you're new here, if you just haven't subscribed yet, we're growing the channel. We're getting really, really close to 1,000 subscribers, which would blow my mind. So that would be fantastic if you could help us out with that. Appreciate it. And then lastly, if you'd like a notification for whenever a new video is posted, I don't really keep a strict schedule. And here lately, I really have been kind of slowing down with my videos. So if you want a notification for when a new video is posted, just click the bell icon and that'll let you know. And that way you don't have to keep refreshing or coming back to me. You can just get a notification and it'll let you know. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, don't forget there's a written guide for every behavior, including ones I haven't yet covered on this channel. And if you want to learn some more, why don't you check out this video next.